You might know I have a habit of using everyday objects as training tools, but even I never thought I would learn something from my old Kirby sweeper. Yeah, it's heavy enough to get some exercise, but that's not what I'm talking about. I waited until the floor was really dirty to demonstrate this, so don't think I live like this, okay? I noticed that if I had company coming and I was in a hurry to get the carpet vacuumed, I would have to go over it again and again. I knew the vacuum was in good working order, so I paid a little more attention. As I slowed down, it started picking up all the evidence that I'd been eating popcorn in my underwear or whatever bachelor behavior I had been indulging in. I tested this on another section of carpet that was even more embarrassing, and watched the difference. Normal sweeping speed, and now slow and deliberate with the same sweeper. See how everything just gets sucked up? Now what's that telling us? The karate connection to this is something I've been harping on for a long time. For too long, kata practice has degenerated into a kind of performance art where your skill is measured by how blurry your speed is and how much snap, crackle, and pop you generate. The illusion is that what is designated as good form is actually fighting ability. It doesn't translate directly for a couple reasons. Number one, movements that look pretty aren't guaranteed to work in combat. Sure, there are people who can move in such an impressive way that we instantly think, wow, I bet I could never hit her. And this lady's very popular in Japan, and I admire her, but her karate is not my karate. Number two, Kata was designed to create not just muscle memory, but a mind-body unity. Originally, you were supposed to visualize the exact circumstances where you would be applying the defense. The kata have scenarios where your imaginary opponent does something, and you create that in your mind clearly, many hundreds of times, besides acting it out with a partner. You don't necessarily develop the entire range of ability when you're sparring with a live opponent because he's already in front of you. You don't have to visualize him. So something very different goes on in the brain. The master teachers of the past understood this and practiced in a very unhurried and exacting way, like they're trying to sweep up every last piece of dirt on the rug. It's hard to do that visualization when you're using all your energy in making your movements snappy, like our kata competitor. At the other extreme, you can tell when a person thinks sparring is what really matters because that person's kata also shows no concentration and visualization going on. This example shows absolutely no presence of the elements that make kata practice work for you. It's a race. This makes me really sad. Not because they aren't making pretty movements or being synchronized, but because they're just so obviously clueless. You probably noticed that there's a lot of jumbled movement in a boxing or MMA match where the people are really trying to hurt each other. The person who gets in the winning blow is always using a deliberate move that was visualized. And while there may be lots of indistinct blows thrown during a fight, the one that scores is usually a relaxed motion and often not even all that fast. Karate people around the world are familiar with Funakoshi's maxim, Perform kata exactly. A real fight is something else. Why would this be? If a real fight is different, why do kata practice if it doesn't relate to a real fight? The answer was best put by someone who is not a karate instructor, but a firearms instructor. I was very impressed with what he said here.
As a rule, the first thing you should learn how to do is pull the trigger without moving the gun. You don't even need to load the gun, you don't need a target. You need to be able to fire the gun without altering the attitude and the direction the gun's pointed. Until you can do that, aiming is meaningless. Think about it, if you're shooting a shot, you're focused on that front sight. You're looking at that front sight. You're looking, and you say, no, I'm going to shoot now. And you jerk the gun 6 inches low, 8 inches low. It didn't matter if you aimed to begin with. So it's pointless to focus on aiming until fire control is in place. Now, shooting's really simple, guys. It's not necessarily easy, but there are only 3 things that you have to do. Hold the gun really tight. Okay, don't try to relax. Hold the gun tight. Point the gun at the target where you want to hit it and pull the trigger as fast as you can without moving. That's it. That's all the secrets to shooting. And if you do it right, while not necessarily easy, it is very simple. I'm holding the gun as tight as I can, locking the gun, the dot's in the target, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger like this.
Mr. Latham hit the nail on the head for what we do as well. I always like to compare karate to firearms because in my book, karate is a deadly tool just like a gun, which may explain why some people concentrate on pretty movements. They don't really think they could kill anybody. What he says about developing smooth movement in just the index finger and a firm grip on the gun relates to good karate technique. Without using the word, he's talking about doing kata. It's the slow, deliberate execution of basic motions over and over that are your foundation, and they should never be dissociated from their applications. When you speed them up as needed, you are then accurate and powerful and deadly. I'll leave a link to this nice short video so you can watch all of it. Now go clean your house and see how many things you can learn about karate training.